So, some breakfast stuff is really simple. Some stuff is pretty complicated. And some stuff people think is complicated, but it's really pretty simple. When you think about making hollandaise, some people look like that. But I'm going to show you how to make it and make a dish with it. I'm going to make you look like that. Hey guys, that looks familiar. Stick around. We're going to do a fun dish today. So, I apologize if there's a little background noise, guys. I still got some stuff going on here in the kitchen. But, first thing we want to talk about is Canadian bacon. We are going to be making eggs Benedict today. Really simple, classic dish. And I don't usually throw a whole lot of brand-specific things on the channel, but here I'm going to. And this is a boar's head, Canadian-style bacon. Canadian bacon is actually a cured pork loin. Okay, so if you buy a really good one, it should look like a cured loin of pork. It should look like a pork loin, smoked and cured, and it shouldn't look like ham. Canadian bacon isn't ham. It's supposed to be this. So that's something you want to look for if you can. It's a great product. I buy it at the grocery store, but I had to seek it out for sure. You know, do that because you get a really nice meaty product with a lot of flavor. So basically all we're going to do first off is cut this into slices. About an inch, about a ounce and a half each. And that's going to be our portion there. Okay? Alright guys, so we're over here at the stove. And I think we could safely call this an Eggs Benedict hack video. Because I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that I do at the restaurant to make it a little bit easier for me and faster, which give us better product for the customers. This is exactly 3 quarts of water, not about. It's exactly 3 quarts of water, and it's at a good simmer. We're going to add 1/8 of a cup of kosher salt, and if you're a Patreon subscriber, you'll know why I use kosher salt and not table salt. Also, 1/2 of a cup of white vinegar. Okay. The salt's going to give it flavor, season it. The vinegar is going to help set the egg, going to help set the proteins, and what it's going to do is it's going to give you a nice, clean skin, and it's not going to be cloudy. It's going to be nice and shiny. So, taste that. Yep, it's got a little bit of sourness, nice and seasoned. We're going to use 3 eggs this time. I mean, use however many eggs you want to, I guess, actually. Now, the reason I'm doing this is people are really scared to do it to order. They got to do their timing right. They got to do everything perfectly to get it on there and get it out to the table. If you do it this way, what's really nice is you can pre-poach them and then keep this liquid. And then to order, just drop them back down in, warm them, and send them out. So as soon as this comes back up to a simmer, which it is very close. Alright, there we go. Now, what we want to do is give it a little bit of a swirl. Kind of just give it a really light stir. And this is where your egg cracking technique's got to be on point. Take an egg, and I'm going to kind of go around in a circle with it when I drop it. And let it fall. I'll do a couple at a time. If you're planning to do more at a time, I do up to 8 or 10 at a time sometimes. I use a bigger pot. So you will get a little bit floating. That's fine. It'll break off. No big deal. What you want to do is just keep an eye on it. You don't want it to be boiling hard. And you can skim this extra stuff off. It's just a little bit of egg white that came off. Not a big deal. So, As long as you swirled it, it shouldn't have stuck. The egg should not have stuck to the bottom. And I think you could see that in there. They're kind of swirling around there. We're just going to give this a minute or two. I'm not going to cut the tape off or the video off. It might be a minute or two here of kind of boring video, but I want to see I want you to see in live time how long I left these in. And then obviously you can sort of time it yourself by looking at the video. But you can see already they're holding together. They are very jiggly, and they definitely need about another 30 seconds or so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go from here into an ice bath, just ice and water, and then onto a, I just used a little sizzle plate, little stainless steel tray, with just a touch of pan spray on it so they don't stick. And I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, which is exactly what you would do at home. And then when you're ready, the next thing we're going to do is the hollandaise. And when the hollandaise is ready, we will toast the English muffin. We're going to pan sear the Canadian bacon a little bit while we drop the eggs back in the same very same liquid, and we're going to build the dish. Now what's nice is you can do these ahead of time, and you know, if you have 10 or 12 people, it's not such a daunting task to do Eggs Benedict for people. You can really show off. Just don't let them in the kitchen while you're doing it. They'll wonder how the hell you did it. And this is the scary part for a lot of people, is actually poaching the egg. And if you see, it's starting to get a little more cooked. Got a little jiggle to it, little wiggle jiggle. The hollandaise we're going to be making is going to be a very basic hollandaise with melted whole butter, a little squeeze of lemon juice, just a tiny touch of mayo, just store-bought mayo, and that's going to help emulsify and keep it from breaking if you do it ahead of time. That's going to be the hack part of the hollandaise. Okay, I think we're going to give it 30 more seconds. If there's the one that I put in first, yeah, we're going to call that one done. Yep, perfect. And you can tell, it's kind of hard to describe this, but they feel almost hollow because they're so underdone. But that's exactly what you want. So we're going to get those onto the tray, and we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so next step, we're going to make this hollandaise. It's a two-stage process. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take 4 egg yolks and about a teaspoon of mayo. We're going to squeeze the juice of about a quarter to a half of a lime, depending on how big it is. I'm going to use a half a lime because I like it a little more lemony. You can also add a little bit of lemon zest in here if you really wanted to have that lemony flavor without the acidity. And we're going to warm it up and whisk it over a steam bath, because we want to partially cook the eggs, but we want to do it very gently, so that way it'll accept the clarified butter or the melted butter when we go to drizzle that in. So very simply, you know, just a little bit of egg, a little bit of mayo. We're going to hit the juice of lemon, half of a lemon, and we're going to give it a whisk. And you'll see it get a little bit pale, and you'll notice it. I don't know that you'll be able to notice it on the camera, but you'll notice that it'll start to thicken up just slightly. It'll go from this bright yellow to a little bit more of a pale or pastel yellow. And that's all you want. You want to make sure you don't let any stay in one spot, because it will cook, and you don't want that. And there is a lemon seed in there. We'll get that guy out afterwards. Don't mess around. You don't want to stop whisking. And what we're going to do after this is we're going to head over to the table, and we're going to drizzle in our clarified butter. And I think that's where we're going to stop. I don't don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but you can see it's a little bit thicker, a little frothy, just slightly, and a little bit thicker, or a little bit more pale. All right, so we're over here at the table. Now here's a little trick for you. Wet towel in a ring, sit your bowl on there, kind of push down. It'll keep the bowl from moving around, so you don't need to hold on to it so much. We've got 8 ounces of butter, just regular old regular salted butter. And what we're going to do, I'm going to leave the milk solids on the top. All right. Classically you'll see that clarified to the point where it's just the yellow. I leave that on the top. I don't worry about it. It gives it a nice buttery, creamy flavor and texture. So we're going to drizzle this in without getting any of the water off the bottom, because when butter separates, you've got solids and liquids, and the butter and the clarified butter. We're going to drizzle that in there. We're going to season it to taste, and then what you can basically do is wrap it up with a little plastic wrap. Keep it in a nice warm spot until you're ready to build your Benedicts. Little bit at a time, little bit at a time. You're building, this is called an emulsification. If you go too fast and it breaks and it won't, and the egg does not hold on to the butter, you're in trouble. You either have to start with a fresh one and drizzle and whisk that into it, or just start from scratch entirely. And you'll know if it breaks. It'll split, and you'll basically get like an oil slick on the top. So like I said, this was 4 eggs and 8 ounces of butter. This is also really, really easy to do in a food processor. I'm doing it here by hand because I want to do it by hand for you guys. But doing it in a food processor is obviously a ton easier. We're almost done here. One thing you don't want to do is shake up this melted butter. And I'll show you why. You can already see the white. That is gonna make your hollandaise thin if you use too much of it. So we're gonna call it quits on that. Okay. And you see how nice and rich and thick that is? Really velvety. We're gonna give it a taste. Oh man, that's awesome. It does not need salt and pepper because I used the salted butter. Now from here, you want to add fresh herbs. You want to add some tomato and make a Chiron. You want to add some blood orange juice and make a Maltese. You want to add some extra lemon to make it really lemony. Great, do all that. You want to throw some Tabasco sauce in there. Throw some Tabasco sauce in there. I like sriracha. And there is your homemade sriracha hollandaise. No big deal, right? So let's get to building these eggs Benedict. All right, now we're gonna get ready to finish this dish up. We're gonna reheat the eggs, and we're gonna heat up the Canadian bacon. Now the biggest thing with the Canadian bacon is you don't want to overcook it. You just want to kind of warm it through in the pan a little bit, otherwise it will get tough and dry, especially this Canadian bacon, the real nice stuff. So we're going to drop 2 pieces into a lightly buttered pan. And I'm actually going to turn, I just turned it off. It's hot, but I'm going to turn it off. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to drop these pre-poached eggs. And you can see they're kind of firm now, okay? Squishy but firm. We're going to drop these right back into that simmering liquid. And I'm going to take these over to the table and get this thing put together. We got our toasted English muffins, nice and crunchy. Nooks, crannies. I guess those are the crannies and those are the, I don't know which is which, I don't know. But I'm going to put our Canadian bacon on there. Nice. We're going to take a couple of these eggs, drop them right on top. Straight out of that water. Just sort of let them drain a little bit. Okay. I'm going to hit these guys with a little extra sauce in case you want the spice. And now our hollandaise. Now remember, this is the sriracha hollandaise. You see it's held up really, really well. It's not splitting. It's nice and rich. And that's it. Eggs Benedict, sriracha hollandaise. Oh wait. I forgot something. Don't forget. Ladies like the green stuff. Get out of here. Beat it. Nobody wants you here. That's just a little chiffonata baby spinach. You could use any other herbs, it'd be great. Tarragon is great in hollandaise, make a béarnaise. But there's your dish. Toasted English muffin, a really nice Canadian bacon, pre-poached eggs that nobody will ever know, and a hollandaise with a little trick to it so you don't have to worry about it so much. And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna cut into one of these guys. And that's what you want to see. There you go. Nice egg. Just doesn't get any more perfect than that. That's about as good as I can do. If that isn't good enough for you, you better go find somebody else. So, check me out on Sundays, 10:30 Eastern on the channel. We do live streams, question and answer. And if you want to help the channel out, check out patreon.com. Midnight Range TM. We do a few different levels of donations. Keep me cooking. If you want to join Patreon too, as of now we're doing a chef's tip of the day. Every day there's a new little kitchen tip or hack, something fun that might help you out in the kitchen or give you a little bit of knowledge. So I hope you guys try this. I hope it takes a little bit of the mystery out. Trust me, it's not as hard as it looks, and it's a great way to impress your family and friends. Just don't let them know what the secrets are, okay? Thanks.